Hey friends, welcome to your reading. Today's reading is all about the future version of you who has it all and what advice they'd give to you now. There is a version of you who already has everything you've been working toward. They're living the life, financial freedom, joy, creative purpose, confidence, and peace, and right now, they're reaching back to you. So in this reading, we are going to connect with this future version of yourself, the future you who already has it all, and we're going to hear exactly what advice they have for you in this moment. If you are new to Pick a Card readings, here's how it works. The first thing that you're going to do is you are going to pick the pile or the crystal that you are the most intuitively drawn to. So we have pile 1 here with the Mookaite Jasper. We have pile 2 here with Flint. We have pile 3 here with Seafoam Calcite, and we have pile 4 here with Sunstone. Now, you can choose one pile, you can choose more than one pile, or you can choose all of them. It is totally up to you, but when you're ready, go to the description of this video, find the timestamp that is linked to your pile, and then you can skip ahead to your reading. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. It is totally an honor, and I will see you on the inside. Hi pile 1, hey friends, welcome to your reading. So let's talk about the future you. Who are you? Let's describe what your life looks like now. Let's touch on your wealth, your home, your relationships, your career, and your lifestyle. So we have the 6 of Wands here. With this, it represents things like victory, things like recognition, public success, being seen. It can also talk about self-confidence. So with this, I feel like you are admired, pile 1. You're celebrated, and you're somebody who is very much respected, not just by others, but finally by yourself. I feel like you've overcome inner battles and you've stepped into visibility. This is you no longer hiding your gifts. You're a leader, you're a guide, and your story is very inspiring to others. So maybe some of you here are YouTubers, right? And you hit a big YouTube milestone. Like, for example, say you are a tarot pick a card reader here too, and your channel reaches 100,000 subscribers, right? And you're getting recognized for your healing or your creative talents or your intuitive voice. This could also talk about maybe like speaking or hosting. Maybe some of you here are going to be invited to speak on summits or podcast about your story. I feel like you're going to be able to share how you turned your pain into purpose, and I feel like you know how to own your journey without shame. I also feel like there's this energy of like client wins here. I feel like past clients are publicly going to be thanking you for helping them transform. I think that you're going to have glowing testimonials, and it's going to be this really cool like word of mouth referrals that feels very organic and authentic and not like overly cheesy or salesy or anything like that. Not to say that like everyone here needs to be in sales, but I'm just saying that like you're going to start to be recognized for something. This could even just be getting recognized within your home or within your friend group or whatever it is, but it's like public recognition in some way. Okay, we also have the seer here. So with this, I feel like you are very magical, pile 1. You're very intuitive. I feel like you're very open. You're somebody who knows how to trust the unknown, and you're not necessarily tied to rigid plans because you know that the universe is always conspiring on your behalf. So maybe you live moment to moment, or you create from divine inspiration, right? Like maybe you don't force timelines or clients or money, and visibility comes exactly when it's needed, right? You trust it. Maybe you journal about the dream homes you want or the travel or the income, and not from desperation, but from joy, right? Like this is this anything can happen vibe, right? I keep hearing that song. I think it's by Ellie Goulding. It's like anything can happen. Here we go again with me starting to sing on the channel, but anyway, yeah, it's like anything can happen. Keep that as your motto. I'm also feeling like you're going to have this intuitive lifestyle, right? So you're going to be able to plan your days around your energy, not obligation. And if you need a break, you're going to be able to take it without guilt. So let's talk about how you got here, right? What sort of major shifts or choices did you make? What beliefs did you embrace or release? And what sort of actions help you to quantum leap into this beautiful life that you have, right? Into this beautiful life that you have, this future version of you who has it all. So we have the Wheel of Fortune here. With this represents things like destiny, things like a turning point, divine timing. It can talk about karmic cycles or surrender. So pile 1, I feel like this wasn't about force. It was more about flow, right? So I feel like you aligned yourself with your soul path, and you trusted timing, and you took inspired risks. You stopped chasing and you started attracting, pile 1. And whenever things ended, you let them go, right? And when new doors opened, you walked through them. So maybe for some of you here, you work with a toxic parent, right? Maybe you left a toxic work or family entanglement and you finally trusted your own voice, even without a safety net, right? Or maybe some of you here made some sort of pivotal decision where you said yes to something wild, like uploading your first tarot video or taking a solo trip, and that moment is what shifted everything. I feel like this is very like synchronistic. Maybe some of you here have followed signs. Maybe you've been seeing angel numbers 111, 222, 1111. You know, maybe this is repeating dreams or like intuitive nudges, which led you to unexpected career or financial breakthroughs. Now, we also have the mirror. This one says self-reflection, writer, big picture. So with this, I feel like you did the deep work. I feel like you stopped looking outside for answers and you started to turn inward. So your healing journey became your brand and your story and your medicine. You're someone who reflected and you wrote and you saw the truth about your patterns and your family legacy and your soul path. So maybe some of you here had to journal to clarity, right? Maybe you wrote letters that you never sent, or you cracked open your truth, or you created content from those reflections. I really feel the energy of like pattern breaking here. Like pile one, I feel like you saw how codependency and people pleasing were blocking your abundance and you rewrote those scripts. This is very much like this writer's identity, right? Like you owned your gift for storytelling. Maybe you even started a book or a podcast or a blog that shares your healing in this very raw, relatable human way. So let's talk about the advice that your future self would give you now. What sort of message does this version of you want to tell you? Or what do they wish you knew or started believing today? We have the Seven of Wands in reverse here. And so this can talk about letting go of resistance, dropping defensiveness. It can talk about burnout too. And it can also shed light on like inner peace. So this is you stopping yourself from fighting for approval or attention or legitimacy. I feel like you don't need to defend your choices anymore, pile one. The battle is over. I think this is you letting go of the need to prove your worth. This is you choosing peace over performance, right? Softness over struggle. I wonder if some of you here are going to have a shift in your online presence. Like maybe you stop over explaining your spiritual path to skeptics online, or you post from alignment, not for validation. For example, here, I have a TikTok as well. You can check it out, Title Tarot. Although I would say like the meat of the content is here on YouTube. I just use TikTok for more like interacting, you know, engaging with my community there. And I'm also connected with like other spiritual communities on there. So it's really cool. But I remember just flipping through some live streams and I came across this one fella and he was giving some just free game, right? He was giving some free advice on how to grow online. And I just was like, wow, what a nice person. So I like commented and I said, oh, thank you so much for your tips. Like appreciate it. And because my handle says Title Tarot, I guess the guy like saw the word tarot in there and was like, ooh, like the devil can't get me. Devil can't get me. And kept saying that. He's like, nope, the devil can't prosper against me. And I remember like feeling so hurt. And I was like, wow, like I've been doing the spiritual thing for so long now, and you'd think that like I, you know, would have been over it or something, but it's like, yeah, no, like we're human, and sometimes it's tough to not want to defend ourselves or defend our choices or whatever, but it's like, okay, at the end of the day, let's be real, let's be objective. Like I don't know him, he doesn't know me, complete strangers. I do not want to trade lives with him, and he probably doesn't want to trade lives with me, so we shouldn't worry about either one of each other, right? Or I shouldn't worry about his opinions because I don't, who cares? So, but yeah, easier said than done, right? But I just wanted to share an example of like, I still get it today. You know, I feel like when you come from a good place, or when you have a lot of like, you know, white light around you, or you just have good intentions, it's almost like a moth to a flame, right? Like you're shining so bright, and I'm not like trying to like, anyway, you catch my drift. You're shining so bright, so you attract a lot of things, right? And so I just feel like this can also talk about like energetic boundaries. So maybe some of you here are gonna like put those boundaries down. You're not gonna let people treat you any old way. You're not gonna let them talk to you any old way, or you're gonna like be like, they're ignorant and it's not worth it. I'm not gonna argue with ignorance, right? There's nothing to prove to ignorance. They're just ignorant. So yeah, I just feel like this is you. Stop saying yes. This is you finally like putting your foot down with people who are draining you, or opportunities that feel like survival and not expansion. This is you resting, right? Instead of forcing yourself to show up 24/7, you honor your cycles and you let success meet you in stillness. We also have water, dolphin. So this is about being fluid, playful, and soft. I feel like the message here is to swim with life, not against it, right? So stop trying to control everything. This is you letting yourself laugh again, dream again, trust again. There really is this power in surrender, okay? So this is you embracing your feminine flow and really releasing this need to win, right? So I think this, again, represents flow creation, right? This is you giving yourself permission to be inconsistent if it honors your energy, and somehow your work will probably do even better, right? This is you allowing play to heal you, right? Dancing, swimming, singing, you know, going on spontaneous dates with life. Anything as it has to do with reconnecting you to joy and your magnetism, right? No more hustle. You stop planning every single post and you just start channeling. You get downloads in the shower maybe, or on walks, or in dreams, and they work. Let's talk about how you can start living as if you were already this future version of yourself. We have the Three of Swords here, and so this can talk about heartbreak, it can talk about releasing your emotions, it can talk about grief, healing the past. So with this, I feel like it's this reminder that like we can't fake our way to wholeness, right? We have to start with the broken places, and living as if means facing what still hurts and tending to it with love, right? So don't skip the sadness, pile one. I think that healing is going to be your bridge to the future. I'm really feeling very strongly like this inner child healing, right? Maybe writing letters to your younger self, or doing mirror work, or finally giving yourself the love that you needed growing up. I think that this is you also fully processing grief from maybe like, again, like a toxic parental relationship, or a past love, or a betrayal that you were trying to spiritually bypass. I also feel like this is you maybe creating like healing content, right? Like creating videos or art or stories about the pain that you've alchemized. And this offers other people a space to feel and to transform, which many people don't offer, right? So you have a very special gift, pile one. I want you to remember that. I want you to just soak into that feeling of how truly valuable you are, and not because of anything that you can do, but just because you are valuable. You were born valuable. You were born innately worthy. And so it's time for you to start leaning into that feeling. Now, we also have healing. I love that this comes on the heels of this. So this is Aries energy. This is you taking courageous steps forward towards healing your pain. This is letting yourself feel it and then acting from that brave place, right? Because Aries energy says initiate. Don't wait for someone else to save you or apologize. Choose yourself now, right? You're not broken. You are a healer becoming whole. So maybe this is you having active healing rituals, right? Maybe this is you creating routines that support your healing, like morning pages or nature walks or sound baths, or immersing yourself in the things that feel healing to you. I also feel this call to let you know to have bold boundaries, right? This is you removing yourself from toxic dynamics, even if it is family, and this is you claiming your peace unapologetically. This is you channeling your pain to purpose, right? You built a business or art or a message around the exact wounds that you faced, and this is what people come to you for. So what I would love to do is I would love to roll some astro dice, get more advice from your future self. Okay, so we have Mars in the 4th house. So pile one, your future self who has it all says protect your peace like it's gold, right? Your home is your power source and it's not your battleground. With Mars in the 4th house here, your energy, your anger, your ambition, they're very much tied to your home and your inner emotional world. And so I feel like your future self is saying, channel that fire inward. Don't fight your home, fight for your home, right? Make it a place that fuels you and not drains you, right? So for example, maybe when tension comes up with like family or roommates or whoever it is that you're living with, instead of arguing, go build something, right? Rearrange your space, create a sacred corner, maybe start a home-based hustle. Use that Mars energy to drive and to assert control over your environment, right? And maybe not necessarily people, because I feel like it can be tough when we're like I'm just trying to like make sure that I can make sure that people are treating me right. It's like it's tough to control other people, right? It's like hard to even see it that way, but it's like we can't control anyone. So we have to be able to create calm from chaos, and that sanctuary is going to start within yourself. So yes, thank you so much, friends. Remember, your future self is already within you. You don't have to wait to become it. You can start choosing this energy today. So let me know in the comments what pile you chose, what part of this message hit the deepest, or what you're going to do today to step into this energy. If this reading lit something up inside of you, remember to like, subscribe, and share this with a friend who needs this reminder. Check out my page, Title Tarot, here on YouTube. I have tons of pick a card readings on manifesting your best life, your dream career, your home, money breakthroughs, and your next level self. And remember, your wealth, your freedom, and your dream life, they're not far away, Pile 1. They're already yours. So until next time, keep trusting the tide. I'll see you on the next video. Bye, Pile 1. Hi, Pile 2. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading. Let's talk about the future you. Who are you? Let's describe what your life looks like now. Let's touch on your wealth, your home, your relationships, your career, and your lifestyle. Excuse the scratching in the background. That's just my little pup. It's my dog. He's always with us in the readings here. If you know, you know. Okay, so the future you. Who are you, right? We have the 8 of Swords here. So this can talk about mental release. It can talk about freedom from limitations, taking this perspective shift, or maybe even stepping out of the cage. This is you releasing yourself from whatever you feel like has been trapping you, right? So this can talk about almost like an internal prisons, especially those that are rooted in guilt or people pleasing or perfectionism. This is the version of you who realized that you were never truly trapped. You were just conditioned, right? And so you now live in freedom because you chose to see your situation differently. So I really do feel like your mental clarity is going to equal your manifestation. You cleared your limiting beliefs around money, around self-worth, and I feel like these are the things that directly increased your income and creative confidence. So this is you leaving the cage pile too. You no longer feel stuck in your living situation or in your relationship or in your career. You saw through the illusion of I can't, and you found other creative solutions. So I really do feel like there's a lot of mindset healing here. Maybe you worked with affirmations or EFT tapping or journaling or somatic work to really mentally unbind yourself from the fear and any sort of past programming that is keeping you stuck. We also have rooted. This represents groundedness. It can talk about gratitude, presence, deep foundations, really gratitude for what already exists. So your future self is so deeply rooted in gratitude and stability. I feel like you're no longer chasing the next thing, and you've cultivated this richness in your current environment. Even if you still desire growth, you live with contentment and embodiment, and you've built this sustainable life, not this fleeting high. So for example, maybe some of you here start off every morning with grounding practices like tea or breath work or barefoot walks, and they stabilize your nervous system. Maybe some of you here count your existing blessings, right? Time, love, the roof over your head, your clients, whatever it is, right? And you stop making peace conditional on a future goal. I also feel like for some of you here, this could represent like a land connection of some sort. So maybe some of you here find or build a home that's connected to nature or ancestry, and it creates safety after years of instability. So how did you get there, right? What sort of major shifts or choices did you have to make? What sort of beliefs did you have to release or embrace? And what sort of actions helped you to quantum leap? So we have the world in reverse here, and this can talk about incompletion, things like revisiting lessons, integrating things, maybe even delayed closure. So I feel like you stopped trying to rush to the finish line, pile 2, and instead you turn back to face the open loops, unhealed wounds, maybe any sort of incomplete cycle, right? I feel like your breakthrough didn't come from pushing forward. It came from finally turning inward and resolving that unfinished business. So maybe this represents inner work before outer success. Maybe you paused on launching a new project to first do emotional healing work or therapy around unresolved childhood wounds or mother issues. Maybe this is you rewriting the past in some way. Maybe this is you revisiting a painful chapter like an unhealthy relationship or money trauma, and this time you reclaim that narrative from a place of power. I'm also hearing like you probably will make money off of it too if you feel like it, just because We have water koi here with all of these coins in the bottom of the pond. I also feel like this could talk about maybe slower integration, like maybe you allowed a longer gestation period, if you know what I mean, like a longer gestation period in your personal growth or your business instead of rushing to monetize it or to succeed. And I feel like that patience is going to pay off. We also have the Lover, Aphrodite, passion, abundance. It is safe to surrender to good feelings. This represents passion, represents love, magnetism, sensuality, the divine feminine outside of yourself, and you became your own source of radiance. I feel like you embraced your desires unapologetically, you know, from money to pleasure, and I feel like you really did build a life that turned you on, not one that just looked good on paper, you know? So I feel like you chose passion, right? You pursued what excited your soul, be it creating spiritual content or coaching or art or writing or motherhood in this very new, sovereign and free way. I feel like this is you magnetizing love, right? Because by loving yourself radically, you attract soulmate connections, right? And maybe you even transformed an existing one into an even deeper level of intimacy. I also feel like you embodied beauty, right? So you started dressing and moving and expressing from a place of sensual self-respect. And I feel like you really reclaimed your body and your voice and your worth. So what advice would your future self give to you now? What sort of message does this version of you want to tell you? And what do they wish that you knew or started believing today? So we have the Four of Wands here, and this can talk about celebration, stability, things like soul family, sanctuary, you know, joy in the present. And so I feel like your future self wants to tell you to stop waiting for someday to feel safe, right? Stop waiting for someday to feel joyful or worthy of celebrating. This is your call to build joy and wealth and your happiness now. This is you making your life a sanctuary. This is you cultivating your home and your rituals and your connections with reverence. Your future self wants you to honor your current blessings while anchoring the belief that it gets to be even better. Right, pile two? So this is you celebrating the now. Maybe you want to host a gathering or decorate your home or have a small ritual, even if you haven't arrived yet. This is you reminding yourself and embodying the energy of you being worthy now. This is you maybe seeing home as sacred, right? Maybe you create a sanctuary, even if it's a small apartment, right? Maybe you have candles and music and beauty and comfort, and this all becomes part of your daily life. I also feel like this is soul-filled circles, right? So maybe you make space for relationships and community that feel like home, and this heals your fear of vulnerability or rejection. We also have water. This one says koi. So this is peace. This is surrender. This is your emotional clarity. This is you having grace. So I feel like your future self is urging you to flow with trust, right? Stop trying to control every outcome or every timeline. You don't have to force your evolution, pile two. Koi represents things like grace, sacred timing, and going deeper rather than going wider. So maybe this is you choosing emotional balance over external performance. This is you letting it flow, right? Maybe you stop micromanaging your money or your growth or your engagement, and you're shocked at how things begin flowing more freely. Maybe this is you getting some sort of emotional mastery, right? You start choosing peace over panic, or you pause over pushing, right? Or you choose emotional processing over spiritual bypassing. This is you allowing, not forcing, right? This is you releasing the need to make the future happen, and instead begin living the way you talk, and begin living the way you talk and walk and create and care for yourself. And knowing that everything divine will just, you know, follow suit. So let's talk about how you can start living as if you were already this future version of yourself. We have the Seven of Swords here. So this can talk about strategy, about reclaiming your energy. Can also talk about being private or like doing things in secrecy, moving in silence, you know, discernment. So this is you protecting your energy, pile two. You do not need to share every single move with other people. I feel like strongly urged to remind, especially for those of you who have been conditioned to feel like you had to over-explain yourself, to tell everybody what your plans are, to run what you're going to do by everybody before you do it. Like, just know you don't have to do that anymore. You have this power that lies in quiet planning, in strategic movement, and really reclaiming your ideas from the noise. So don't let self-sabotage or fear of judgment block your next step. Living as if means being bold enough to move privately and purposefully. So yeah, again, this is you moving in silence. Maybe some of you here quietly begin a passion project, a new course or a channel or a podcast without seeking external validation or over-explaining it to others. I feel like your energy leaks are going to be closed. You stop sharing your business or your healing goals with people who shoot them down or who drain you with self-doubt, right? This is you having sacred strategy. This is you building systems like scheduling or pricing or branding or automation that create more space and sovereignty for your daily life, right? And your routine and your schedule. And then we also have luck. It says lime. So this is Capricorn energy. I feel like this is strategic fortune. This is consistent action. This is this grounded expansion, right? So living as if doesn't mean faking it. It means acting from this faithful consistency, right? Capricorn and Lime say luck meets you when you show up again and again with heart, with vision, and with grit. Your future self wants you to believe that the more that you embody your truth, the more life conspires in your favor. So I think this is you working smart and soulful, right? This is you creating systems that help you show up more often. Maybe this is weekly uploads, monthly offerings, with structure and spaciousness, right? Maybe this is you pre-batching content and then putting it out, scheduling it, whatever it is. And then you might be at the beach with your family swimming in the middle of the workday because, hey, you've already pre-scheduled it, right? This is you also having sacred routines, right? You building consistent habits. Maybe this is a daily tarot practice or monthly goals or money dates, right? Anything that helps you to feel grounded and lucky. I also feel like this could be like rooted risks, right? So maybe you take a leap, like a new offering or a channel or a location, but not from panic, but from deep alignment, and it turns into breakthrough, like a huge breakthrough moment is what I'm hearing. So let's also roll some astro dice. Let's get more advice from your future self. Pile 2. Okay, so we have Neptune in the 4th house. Your future self who has it all is reminding you here to trust your inner tides and know that your sensitivity is not a weakness, right? It's your compass, it's your home. So with Neptune in the 4th house here, I feel like your emotional world and your sense of home, they're very dreamy, they're spiritual. Maybe it can feel a little unclear, confusing at times. And so your future self is advising you to create a home that feels like a sanctuary and not just one that looks like one. Pile 2, I feel like you really need a space for retreat or imagination or emotional replenishment. Don't ignore your need to escape. Make sure that you're escaping into nourishment and not avoidance. So instead of numbing out on your phone when you're overwhelmed, light a candle or play some soft music or journal or meditate. Really invite spirit into your home life, literally and symbolically, right? So this is you making space for the sacred, and this is you having a home that reflects your soul. Thank you so much, friends. Remember, your future self is already within you. You don't have to wait to become it, and you can absolutely start choosing this energy today. Drop a comment below. Let me know what pile you chose. You know, I love to connect with you all in the comments. Let me know what came up for you, and let me know what you're going to do today to step into this energy if you feel called. And if this reading lit something up inside of you, remember to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who is in need of this reminder. Check out my page, Title Tarot. I've got tons of pick a card readings on manifesting your best life, your dream career, home, money breakthroughs, and your next level self. Remember, your wealth and your freedom and your dream life, Pile 2, it is not far away and they're already yours. So until next time, keep trusting the tide. I'll see you on the next video. Bye, Pile 2. Bye, friends. Love y'all. Hi, Pile 3. Hi, friends. Welcome to your reading. Let's talk about the future you. Who are you? Let's describe what your life looks like now. Let's touch on your wealth, your home, your relationships, your career, and your lifestyle. So we have the King of Wands here. This can talk about being a visionary leader. It can talk about boldness, having this magnetic charisma, and really being this fearless creator. Pile 3, your future self is powerful. They're driven, they're highly respected. You're no longer playing small here because you've mastered your creative fire and you've led with purpose and passion and heart. People look up to you, Pile 3, and you live by your own rules, unapologetically, and honestly, your energy commands space. I feel like some of you here are creative entrepreneurs. I feel like some of you here are running a successful online brand. Maybe this is YouTube or coaching or TikTok or some sort of creative business where you inspire and you lead and you empower others daily. You really do have this magnetic authority about you, pile 3. So maybe you're regularly invited to speak or collaborate or to host because your message is bold and it's authentic and it's confidence driven. I also feel like this is a lifestyle of leadership, right? So you wake up early, you design your day intentionally, and you live in alignment with your big vision. You have created systems that support freedom and impact. We also have Fortress of Protection. So this can talk about overprotection, guardedness, lowering your walls, this inner safety. So I feel like you're no longer driven by fear or self-projection. Your future self learned to discern who deserved access to you without needing to build walls. I feel like you live from trust, not trauma, and you've softened, and that softness brought deeper love and alignment. So maybe you started to trust your voice, right? You started to share stories and beliefs in your work openly without hiding behind disclaimers or overthinking about how people will react or judge you. This is you letting people in. This is you building soul-aligned friendships and partnerships because you stop pushing people away from fear of betrayal. I feel like this is you feeling emotionally safe as well. I feel like your home and your work life are now reflecting this very true emotional security, whether this is through your physical space or your routine or your chosen family. So let's talk about how you got there. Let's talk about what major shifts or choices you made. What sort of beliefs did you have to release or embrace? And what sort of actions helped you to make this quantum leap? We have the Hermit here. So this can talk about coming out of isolation. It can talk about you sharing your wisdom. It can also talk about reintegration and this vulnerable visibility. So I feel like you got here by coming out of hiding. I feel like you stopped over isolating and you realized that healing doesn't have to happen alone, pile 3. You began sharing your inner wisdom with the world, imperfectly, honestly, and you started to let your light be seen, even if it scared you. So maybe some of you here, this represents you coming out of the cave in some way, right? This is you stopping the whole overthinking, and you finally launch your channel or your offer or your story, and even though it might not be perfect on paper, you put it out there, right? This is you valuing visibility over perfection. You showed up in this very vulnerable and raw way, which made you relatable and magnetic to your audience. This can also talk about you rejoining community in some way. So maybe you found or you created this aligned community, whether this is entrepreneurial or spiritual or creative, where you felt safe to be fully seen and supported. We also have the Protectress. This says, strength, boundaries, amulet. Your energy is valuable. Protect it well. Pile 3, protect it well. Your energy, like, I keep hearing you have major aura. You have like this amazing energy about you. It needs to be protected. I was telling, I don't know if it was pile 1 or pile 2, but I was like a moth to a flame. Your light is so bright and you are shining, and so it attracts a lot of different things. So have your boundaries, have that in place, and just know that your energy is valuable. So I feel like this is you having extremely good discernment as well. I feel like this could be my pile that you're just like really good people. It's like, that's the only way I can describe it. You're just really good-hearted. You want the best for other people, and you're just not like, I don't know if you get this comment a lot, but like, you're just so nice. You're just so kind. That's you. You are like this pure, beautiful, like, I love this energy. Like I keep seeing like this white dove. Like you just have this very pure energy about you. I keep hearing they don't make them like you anymore. And so again, really, really protect it well. Know how valuable you are. Know that when people get access to you and people get to spend time with you, that's a freaking privilege. Okay? Know that you putting yourself in certain spaces, that's a freaking honor to other people. You do not have to say yes to every single invite. You do not have to say yes to every single obligation. You're an adult now. Know that your energy is valuable, pile 3. So let's talk about the advice that your future self would give to you now. What message does this version of you want to tell you? What do they wish you knew or started believing in today? We have the 5 of Cups in reverse here. This represents things like emotional healing, things like moving forward, having your hope renewed, and looking at what still stands. So your future self wants you to stop focusing on what's gone, pile 3. You know, they want you to stop focusing on who left or what didn't work out. This is your call to let yourself grieve, but don't stay there, right? Because the path is forward and there's still so much that's available to you, but you have to lift your head and be able to receive it. So maybe this is you releasing regret. Maybe this is you forgiving yourself for staying too long or not speaking up or giving away your power and finally letting the past go. Maybe this is you healing your relationships, right? Starting to rebuild your relationships with yourself or with others from this new level of self-worth and boundaries. This is you choosing joy again. Like, instead of sitting around in comparison or sadness, you go out and you create and you stay open to connection or love or opportunity again. We also have Earth. This one says monkey. So this represents strength, things like divine feminine protection, things like sacred boundaries, things like the inner warrior. So I feel like you got here by learning the difference between walls and boundaries. So I feel like you stopped being hyper independent and instead you built systems and routines and rituals that really did protect your energy without isolating you from life, right? You became the mother to yourself that you never had. And that could be literally or metaphorically, but just in that energy, right? So this is you creating some sort of safe space, right? You built emotional and physical and maybe online boundaries so that you could thrive, whether this is through work hours or home energy or an online presence. Maybe this is you saying no, right? This is you bravely walking away from people, places, and opportunities that have consistently disrespected your value, no matter how familiar they felt. This is you having that sacred strength, right? This is you embodying softness and strength simultaneously. And now people see you as strong and nurturing and not one or the other. So let's talk about how you can start living as if you are already this future version of yourself. We have the Knight of Cups here. So this can talk about romanticism. It can talk about heart-led action. It can talk about emotional expression, things like creative pursuit. So this is your call to start leading with your heart now. Let your life be a love letter to your future self, pile 3. Take romantic, soulful steps towards your dreams, right? Flirt with life, take chances, because you're ready to live from inspiration, not insecurity. So maybe you write that poem, or you launch that dream offer, or you say what's really on your heart. This is you not waiting for permission anymore. I also feel like there's this element of you living in this aesthetic way. I feel like this is you curating your life with beauty and feeling, right? So whether this is beautiful meals or walks in nature or music while you're working, you know, just doing things because they feel good to you. I also feel like this is you taking a creative leap in some way, right? Like pursuing a passion project, not because it's practical, but because it's soulful. And ironically, it leads you to abundance. We also have duality. It says banana. So with this, I feel like this is grounded curiosity. This is playful wisdom. This is also intelligent joy. So maybe this is grounded curiosity or playful wisdom or intelligent joy, right? This is you staying grounded, but not forgetting to play, right? Like your higher self wants you to be resourceful and experimental and lighthearted. I think that your future self wants you to think smart, but not to overthink, right? Like you'll build what you want through intelligent joy, not stress or rigidity. So maybe you use fun tools like gamifying your money goals, right? Or content calendar or routine, right? Adding this smart play into it, like really keeping yourself inspired. Maybe this is you having like some sort of joyful curiosity, right? Like you allow yourself to experiment with your offers or your branding or your lifestyle without perfectionism. Maybe this is you simplifying systems in some way, right? Like anchoring into the earth energy through simple routines or meal prep or planning, but leaving space for flow and fun. So let's roll some astro dice. Let's find out more advice from your future self, pile 3. We have Sun in the 2nd house. So I feel like your future self, the one who is radiating abundance, is saying to own your worth like it's your birthright, pile 3. Shine unapologetically in what you value. With the Sun in the 2nd house, your identity and your confidence are deeply tied to your self-worth and your resources and your values. And so I feel like your future self is telling you to Stop shrinking yourself to fit budgets or expectations or outdated beliefs about money. You were born to create value your way, right? So when you invest in yourself, the world is going to respond in kind. So if you're undercharging or if you're doubting your gifts, like, raise your prices, right? Ask for more. Start building something that feels aligned with your soul and your security. This is you letting your confidence be your currency. Pile 3, know that you are the source of your own value and you're going to build wealth by being yourself. So thanks, friends. And I just want to remind you, your future self is already here. It's already within you. You don't have to wait for any specific day to start doing this. You can just do this today. So let me know in the comments what pile you chose, what part of this message hit the deepest, and what you're going to do today to step into this energy. If this reading lit something up inside of you, remember to like, subscribe, and share this with somebody who is in need of this reminder. Check out my channel page, Titled Tarot. I have tons of pick-a-card readings on manifesting your best life, whether this is your dream career, your home, money breakthroughs, or your next level self. And remember, your wealth, your freedom, this dream life of yours, they're not far away. They're already yours. So keep trusting the tide, Pile 3. I will see you on the next video. Bye, friends. Love y'all. Bye, Pile 3. Hey, Pile 4. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading. I just want to give you a quick heads up. If you hear a bunch of kids like laughing, playing, yelling in the background, it's just my kiddos. It's a weekend, so everyone's home, and I just like to make little disclaimers. But in my other videos, I always like to say, like, I'm trying not to apologize for, like, the laughter and the the playful noises of my children. So for those of you who have been here on the channel for a little bit, I think that you probably already know that, but I just like to let all of our newcomers know a little bit more about me. So yeah, I'm a mom, so you will hear those sounds. A really fabulous person I have a very fabulous person in this community who commented and said, it's almost like sitting on a park bench with me and just like talking about things naturally, spiritually, like those types of things, and just kind of catching up with a friend on a park bench while like kids are at play. So I really appreciate you. So if you're that subscriber that left that comment, you know who you are, and I just want to thank you so much for your empathy and your compassion and your support. So Pile 4, let's talk about the future you. Let's talk about who you are. Let's describe what your life looks like now. We'll touch on wealth, home, relationships, career, and your lifestyle. So we have the 5 of Swords in reverse here. And with this, it can talk about resolution, peace after conflict. It can also talk about walking away from ego battles. And it can also talk about this inner harmony. So Pile 4, I feel like your future self is no longer in competition with others or with yourself. I feel like you've let go of the need to prove or win or fix anything, and you have nothing to prove to anyone anymore. You have peace and self-respect and this quiet strength. I just feel like you're no longer controlled by fear or resentment, and it's just presence here. So I feel like this represents you leaving the drama in some way. Maybe this is walking away from toxic family, or like a toxic business, or online spaces that drain you, and you no longer argue for your limitations. Maybe this is you prioritizing your inner peace over hustle, right? Like maybe you stop trying to outperform others in your niche. You stop trying to justify your worth, right? You're just creating because it brings you joy. Like I remember when I first started creating tarot pick-a-cards in this space, my videos didn't get a lot of views, and I didn't really care because I knew that I had a message to share, and I was like, I don't care if 59 people saw it. Those 59 people were the people that were supposed to hear this message. So yeah, I just feel like there could be healing around doing something because it brings you joy, right? I also feel like this could represent relationship healing, right? Maybe some of you here have set healthy boundaries with people who have tried to control or manipulate you, and now you cultivate only peace-led connections. We also have sacred stillness here. And so this represents presence. It represents being over doing, things like divine timing and surrender. So I feel like you've become someone who trusts life so deeply that you no longer hustle for validation. So you're the type of person that is now living with gentle power. You know that when you rest, when you pause, and when you just let yourself be, life rearranges itself in your favor. I feel like you are deeply attuned to divine timing and inner rhythm, Pile 4. So this is you creating rest as a ritual, right? You've structured your day to include stillness. No more rushing from task to task. I feel like you prioritize walks and baths and journaling and naps. I also feel like there's this non-attachment type of creation energy here. So like we spoke about earlier, you create without over attaching it to the results, right? You trust that your content or your products or your offerings or whatever it is that you're trying to do will reach who they're meant for. This can also represent time abundance. Like maybe you've healed your relationship with time. Maybe you no longer feel behind or late, and instead you trust your timeline. So let's talk about how you got here. What sort of major shifts or choices did you have to make, and what sort of beliefs did you have to release or embrace? Let's talk about what actions helped you to make this quantum leap. So we have the Six of Cups here. So this can talk about inner child healing, nostalgia, things like returning to innocence, maybe like emotional integration. So maybe this is you making peace with your past, right? Like you healing your inner child, you reclaiming the joy and the wonder and the simplicity that was buried under trauma, right? So maybe your quantum leap wasn't this giant hustle, but it's actually this return to the truth, right? Returning home to who you are. And you remembered who you were before the world told you who you needed to be, right? So maybe this is you spending time reconnecting with childhood joys, whether this is writing or drawing or singing or imagining, and making them a part of your daily life again. Maybe this is you studying your spiritual lineage and ancestry, your soul contracts, and really understanding how to release generational baggage. I also feel like this could be forgiveness work, right? Like maybe you forgive yourself or others, or finally just let go of blame in general, and you step into self-trust and freedom. We also have Spirit of the Tree. This one says nature, priestess, inner peace. So if you're if you're in need of a lesson, there is wisdom in the trees. Ooh. I just saw a TikTok that said your hands are an extension of the heart. So like I saw someone like placing their hand on a tree and then placing their hands in the grass. And yesterday I took me and my kids to the beach, and I just like set my hands like in the water, in the sand, and it just felt so nourishing. Like I feel like there's a lot of like Mars energy happening right now with the astrology, and so I have been feeling like unusually like hot-headed, or like my temper has been a little bit like more like geared up, and hey, it's Mars energy, right? So it moves us, it you know, pushes us into that masculine like doing type of energy. But I think that this is you really like grounding yourself into nature and connection and you know, like soul alignment and inner peace. I feel like you got to this future version of yourself because you anchored into nature and spirit. You stopped seeking answers outside and you began rooting into your own sacred knowing. And like a tree, you grew slowly and deeply, and you healed by connecting with the earth, you know, cycles, ancestors, and things like soul remembrance. So maybe you're going to start to do some sort of nature healing ritual. Like you start a regular nature walk by the ocean, or a regular nature walk through the park. Maybe you do something to ground yourself, or you work with herbs, or, you know, you tune into moon cycles, and these reconnected you to rhythm. This is very much priestess energy, right? So this is you owning your role as a healer, as a guide, and as a wise woman, not performatively, but through sacred presence and lived devotion. This could also talk about soul routine, like maybe you simplify your daily life and you choose peace over pressure, or quality over quantity, or like depth over distraction. So let's talk about the advice that your future self would give you right now. What does this future version of you wish you knew or started believing today? So we have the Four of Swords here, and this represents rest. It represents recovery. It can talk about retreat, even things like meditation or restoration. So your future self is saying, slow down, pile 4. Stop overthinking, stop overdoing, stop overgiving. You really don't have to prove anything to be worthy of rest. Rest is where the clarity and the abundance and the creativity come from. Maybe some of you here are in a divine pause, and you're allowed to be. So maybe this is you having some sort of spiritual rest practice where you begin meditating regularly, even if this is just for 5 minutes, and you watch as your clarity and your intuition deepen. Or maybe this is you having digital boundaries, right? Like you take social media detoxes, or you take a break from producing content constantly without guilt, and you still see results, right? This is you allowing rest in your business, right? You scheduling rest or creative sabbaticals into your calendar, and stop equating stillness with laziness, right? No matter what your mom or your parents or whoever told you to get up and stop being lazy, like F that, right? You're an adult now. You are the creator and co-creator of your reality. And so please, you are allowed to choose rest. You're allowed to choose yourself. We also have fire. This one says wild boar. So this represents courage. This is protective energy. This is fierce healing. So pile 4, you are stronger than you think, right? Your future self wants you to stop shrinking. You are a protector of your own heart, of your own purpose, and your lineage. So rest now, but don't forget your fire too, right? So let it burn quietly until it's time to roar. Maybe this represents sacred anger for you, right? Like maybe you stop repressing your anger and you use it as a source of fuel to speak your truth, to set boundaries, or to create some sort of movement. Like for example, I've been feeling a lot of sacred anger lately, and I've really been channeling this into this whole mission behind my channel, which is to empower those who have been feeling trapped, limited, and stuck in life to break free, right? To live life on their own terms, to co-create whatever dream reality it is that they want. Your future self wants you to stop shrinking. You are a protector of your own heart, of your own purpose, and your lineage. So pile 4, rest now, but don't forget your fire. Let it burn quietly until it's time to roar, right? So maybe this represents sacred anger in some way. Like you stop repressing your anger and you use it as a source of fuel to speak your truth and to set boundaries or to create a movement. This could also represent quiet power. Like maybe you rest now with intention and you're preparing, right? You're gathering, you're listening, and you're trusting that your fire will know when to rise. This is you choosing yourself. This is when you stop asking permission and fiercely back your dreams, right? Even if other people don't understand them yet. So how can you start living as if you are already this future version of yourself? We have the King of Pentacles here. So this represents things like wealth, stability, things like maturity, even grounded success or long-term vision. I feel like this is a reminder to act as if you are already deeply rooted, right? Act as if you are already this abundant provider and creator. This is your call to ground your energy, pile 4. This is your call to make wise financial moves and carry yourself with the calm confidence of someone who knows that they're taken care of and capable, right? Maybe this is you embodying slow wealth or legacy energy or financial sovereignty. I feel like this could represent your money confidence, right? Like maybe you start tracking your income and your expenses without fear, and you budget and you save and you invest or price your services like someone who is building generational wealth. I also feel like some of you here could be creating a home base. Like maybe you invest in making your space feel luxurious and cozy and secure, even with small upgrades like candles or fresh food or some sort of beautiful organization. This is truly your CEO energy, right? This is you making long-term business decisions and not based on what's trending, but what feels rooted and sustainable for you. We also have vitality, fig, and so this represents things like embodiment. It can talk about health, radiance, things like nourishment. This is Taurus energy. So you already are this version, pile 4. Nourish your body, ground your energy, and live your life like your future depends on how well you love yourself today. You don't need to fake success. You just need to embody vitality and how much you care for your vessel, your time, your energy. Like maybe you start to prioritize sleep or hydration or movement and nourishing food, and not for aesthetics, but because your body is your abundance channel. Maybe you move with intent, right? Maybe you walk into rooms or record videos or speak on live streams with the same presence and groundedness of somebody who actually owns their worth. Maybe this is like self-honoring rituals, right? Maybe you build routines and boundaries that honor your cycles and capacities. No more forcing or overgiving here, pile 4. Let's roll some astro dice. Let's get more information and more advice from your future self. Okay, so we have Pluto in the 6th house. So your future self, who is powerful and purposeful and thriving, reminds you here to master your daily life, right? And with that, you'll master your destiny. I feel like transformation lives in your routines. So with Pluto in the 6th house, your deepest power is going to come through work or habits or health and service. And it's not always glamorous, but it's where your soul does the real alchemy. So your future self is saying, don't underestimate the power of what you do every day. Purge what drains you and rebuild habits and work that empower you. You are meant to rise through discipline and not drama. So if you're stuck in things like burnout or chaos, start by transforming your daily schedule. Wake up earlier, eat cleaner, declutter, maybe make space for soul work, because these small shifts are going to become more seismic. So remember that you transform your life through things like sacred discipline, and your power, Pile 4, is going to be in the details. So thank you so much, friends. Remember, your future self is already within you. You don't have to wait to become it. You can start choosing this today. Let me know in the comments what pile you chose, what part of this message hit deepest, and what you're going to do today to step into this energy. If this reading lit something up inside of you, remember to like, subscribe, and share this with a friend who needs this reminder. Check out my channel page titled Tarot. I have a ton of pick a card readings on manifesting your best life, your dream career, home, money breakthroughs, and your next level self. Remember, your wealth, your freedom, and your dream life, they're not far away and they're already yours. Until next time, keep trusting the tide, and I will see you on the next video. Bye, friends. Bye, Pile 4.